Hello, you wonderful women. It's Janette, and we are back this week. We are going to talk about getting the map on how to go from where you are to where you want to be in life. Last week, we talked about figuring out who you are. And if you didn't do last week's activity, go back and do it now, and then come back here. It'll give you something really concrete to work on. But if you did, or if you have other things you want to work on, that's great too. This pertains to a lot of aspects of your life. So what do you do when you want to go somewhere? In the olden days, and I'm kind of dating myself again here, but we used to take out a map and mark on it where we wanted to go. Sometimes we just have written directions. People would explain to us how to get there. Today, we just take out our cell phones, type in the address, and it gives us step-by-step directions, which makes it really easy. Unfortunately, in our life, the cell phone isn't yet capable of giving us step-by-step directions on how to get where we want to be in our life. The good news is, though, is we can still chart it ourselves. We can get out those maps and draw our own lines. So I'm going to kind of say here that this is basically a step-by-step guide to the law of attraction, if you want to call it that. And before you turn off the video or click away, just hear me out, because it really is possible to get what you want out of life. Now, just because you think I want a new car or I want a new house doesn't mean you're going to get it. That's not how this works, because if it did, everyone would have everything they wanted. You have to totally believe that you have it, that it's yours. It's just waiting to be delivered, or it's just waiting to go in your bank account. Now, you can say, but I don't really believe that, so how is it going to ever work? Well, that's what I'm going to show you. It's a very easy step-by-step process to make that work. And I want you to try it on different things. Now, if you had some of those personality traits from last week that you want to try, that would be good. If you have something else smaller that you want to try first, that might be a little bit easier, that's fine too. But I'm going to take you through these steps, and you can use it for anything you want in life. Anything at all. So I'm going to go through the activity here on the video, but I am going to say that you probably are going to want to go through it in the printed material below, because it's a little bit complicated as far as trying to explain it. But if you read through it step by step and do each step as it comes and look at the examples, it'll be very simple. So that's why I'm telling you the video is probably not the best way to go through this activity. So you're going to want to pick out one thing, just one. Don't work on a whole bunch of things to start with, just one thing at a time. Pick out one thing that you're going to want to change. And then it has to be written down in a very specific way. So let me give you an example. I want to be rich. There's no time frame. It's not present tense. I can't tell if I've accomplished it, because rich is arbitrary. It's not specific. So a better statement would be, I have $1 million to spend as I want by December of 2018. It's very specific. It's $1 million. You can tell if you've accomplished that. It gives a time frame. It's going to happen by December. And it's in the present tense. I have. It's like it's already mine. I just have to wait till December of 2018 for it to be in my bank account. So those are really important aspects when you write down your statement. And again, if you read this, it'll spell it all out for you in the activity instructions. So once you have that written down, and it's very specific, which means that you can tell if it's happened, you know when it's accomplished, or anybody could tell if it's happened. It's not just your opinion. And it has a time frame, and it's stated in the present tense as if you already have it. Get that written down. That's your step one. Step two is to write down what you believe about that right now. So like in the example, I'll never have $1 million. That's your starting point. Step 3 is the key to this whole process. And once you get used to doing step 3, this whole thing is going to go really smoothly. So what you need to do is take your belief right now and come up with a statement that's one step closer to that ideal statement that you started with. For the money thing, you could say, I've never been starving. I've always had what I needed, and now I'm just going to need $1 million. You could put it in that terms, or you could say something like, I have $10 that I can spend any way I want to. Instead of being negative, like I'll never have $1 million to spend any way I want to, you're saying I have something that I can spend the way I want to. So you're getting just a little bit closer to that point of you have $1 million to spend the way you want to. And that's the key here. So once you do that, then we'll go on to step 4. So you found a statement that you can kind of believe, and now I want you to repeat that statement to yourself twice a day, every day, until it becomes automatic. Every time you think about having that $1 million, instead of thinking I'll never have $1 million, in your head pops up, I have at least $10 to spend, or whatever the statement was you came up with. So the key here is to replace your original negative statement with something just a little bit more positive that you fully believe. And keep doing that until every time you think about your objective, that next statement comes to your mind. Okay, so it's training your mind to be just a little bit more positive about that statement. Keeping up with me here. It gets a little complicated, but again, please read the directions below. That'll really make it easier for you. So step 5 is you're going to start making your statements now with some appreciation. So for example, I'm glad I have some money that I can spend the way I want to. So those are statements that now are putting some appreciation into the fact that you believe that next statement that came up. So then step 6 is going to be, once you completely believe that second statement, you'll go back to step 3 basically and come up with a step that's a little bit closer to your goal. So you keep doing this over and over until you get to a statement that actually is really what you want, and you actually can believe that. So here's kind of an example of what it would look like if you were like maybe one step away from that final belief. I like having $1 million to spend as I want. Now, what is not true about that statement? Anyone would like to have $1 million to spend as they want. So that's a very true statement. So you see, you just take this one step at a time until you get to the point that you really can believe that you will have $1 million by December of next 2018. And it's as simple as that. And if you would like to get a good example of what I have done or what I'm in the process of doing, watch the video below. It's really been an interesting experience, and you can have some real life example of how this works. Thanks for joining me today, and I wish you luck on this activity. It can change your life, literally.